$4 billion. That is the amount Americans spend on collagen supplements every year, while another $3 billion goes toward bone broth. They simmer bones for 24 hours, hoping to absorb a protein the body mostly cannot use. Meanwhile, 5 plants sitting in garden centers and on windowsills contain compounds that trigger your body to manufacture its own collagen at rates that make bone broth look like an expensive placebo. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to grow these plants in containers smaller than a shoebox. Walk into any pharmacy in Austin, Phoenix, or Miami tonight. The supplement aisle stretches further than it did 5 years ago. Collagen powders in white tubs dominate the shelves with promises of younger skin and stronger joints. The labels show glowing models. What they do not show is the truth sitting in plain sight in your own backyard. The collagen supplements market hit $3.75 billion in 2026. Sales surged 50% over the past 3 years alone. Animal-based ingredients account for more than 85% of these products. That dominance did not happen by accident. It was built piece by piece through decades of marketing and selective research funding, while the plants that actually work sat ignored in garden centers, along roadsides, and in the same yards where you pull weeds every summer. Here is what the bone broth influencers never mention. The bone broth market hit $1.19 billion in 2025, and people are simmering bones for 24 hours, hoping to absorb a protein the body mostly cannot use. The collagen content in homemade bone broth varies wildly from batch to batch. You could drink 2 cups from the same pot and get completely different amounts each time. Your grandmother knew this. She made bone broth because it tasted good and warmed the house in winter. She did not pretend it was medicine. The absorption problem gets worse. Your body does not paste collagen molecules directly into your skin like spackling a wall. It breaks down the collagen into individual amino acids first. Then it rebuilds those amino acids into new collagen wherever your body decides they are needed. You have no control over that destination. The expensive powder you stirred into your morning coffee might end up reinforcing your intestinal lining instead of smoothing your face. Nobody selling these products will tell you this. Meanwhile, the plants that actually signal your body to produce collagen right where you need it have been growing in ditches and backyards and window boxes this entire time. The difference matters. Collagen supplements give your body raw materials and hope for the best. These plants give your body direct instructions. One approach costs $50 a month and leaves results to chance. The other costs almost nothing and targets the actual mechanism. Now here is what your grandmother probably did know, even if she did not have the words for it. Plants that healed wounds, plants that kept skin healthy through hard winters, plants that her mother taught her to use, and her grandmother before that. 5 of those plants contain compounds so powerful at triggering collagen production that they make the entire supplement industry look like a very expensive detour. The first one grows wild across Asia, Australia, and the southeastern United States. In India, they call it Brahmi. In Sri Lanka, they call it gotu kola. In Thailand, they call it bai bua bok. Across Vietnam, they harvest it fresh and add it to salads. In Indonesia, they call it pegagan and blend it into drinks sold by street vendors for the equivalent of 20 cents. In the Philippines, mothers give it to children. Wounded tigers supposedly roll in patches of it to heal their injuries. That folklore turns out to contain more truth than most modern supplement marketing. Laboratory studies found that centella extract increased collagen production 3-fold compared to control groups. Not 30% more, 3 times more. At 50 milligrams per milliliter, the extract tripled collagen synthesis. Even at 10 milligrams, it increased collagen by 40%. The compound responsible for this effect is called asiatic acid. It tells your cells directly to start manufacturing collagen right where they sit. No middleman, no expensive powder, no hoping the amino acids end up in the right place. The mechanism works differently than anything in a supplement bottle. Asiatic acid activates specific genes involved in collagen synthesis. It also stimulates the production of antioxidants that protect newly formed collagen from breaking down. The plant essentially flips two switches at once. It tells your body to build more collagen, and it tells your body to defend what it builds. No collagen powder on any shelf does both. Traditional medicine practitioners across India, Sri Lanka, and Indonesia have used centella for treating skin conditions for thousands of years. They did not know the biochemistry. They simply observed that wounds healed faster and skin problems improved when this plant was applied or consumed. Modern science spent decades catching up to what village healers already understood. Growing gotu kola takes almost no skill. The plant loves humidity and partial shade. A bathroom windowsill works perfectly in most climates. A hanging basket on a covered porch provides continuous supply. The plant spreads through runners that root wherever they touch moist soil. Pinch off what you need and leave the rest to keep growing. Fresh leaves go into salads with a mild, slightly bitter flavor. Dried leaves make tea that stores in sealed jars for months. A single $3 packet of seeds produces plants that multiply forever without any additional investment. Within 6 weeks of planting, you will have more than you can use. Within 6 months, you will be giving cuttings to neighbors. The second plant spent 300 million years perfecting a mineral that modern nutrition has almost completely forgotten. Walk through any wetland in North America or Europe, and you will find horsetail growing along the edges of ponds and streams. Property owners sometimes spray herbicide on it without realizing they are destroying one of the most silica-rich plants ever analyzed. It has been called a weed for so long that most people forgot it was medicine. Horsetail contains 5 to 8% silica by dry weight. That concentration exceeds other plant sources by a significant margin. Silica plays a role in collagen production that supplement companies never mention because they cannot patent a mineral that grows freely in ditches. Silicon stimulates the cells responsible for building bone and connective tissue. It enhances production of type 1 collagen and a protein called osteocalcin. By optimizing collagen synthesis and strengthening the crosslinks that hold collagen together, horsetail silica contributes to the structural integrity of skin, bone, cartilage, tendons, and blood vessels. Clinical trials found that horsetail extract improved skin elasticity by approximately 13% and skin hydration by approximately 18%. Those numbers rival the results claimed by collagen supplements costing $50 per container. The horsetail grows back every spring without asking for anything in return. The Greeks and Romans used horsetail for similar purposes more than 2,000 years ago. In Korea, traditional practitioners have long recognized its value. In parts of rural Europe, grandmothers still harvest it the way their grandmothers did. In Poland, they call it skrzyp. In Germany, they call it schachtelhalm. In Russia, they brew it into tea and have done so for generations. This plant existed when dinosaurs roamed the earth. It survived everything. Then, the supplement industry showed up, and within a few decades, nobody could remember its name. Growing horsetail requires consistently wet soil. A container sitting in a shallow tray of water mimics its natural habitat along stream edges. The plant grows vertically in segmented stems that look like tiny bamboo stalks. Harvest young shoots in spring when silica content peaks. Dry them thoroughly before storing. Never consume horsetail raw. Cooking or drying makes it safe. A tea made from dried horsetail has an earthy flavor that improves with a spoon of honey. One harvest provides enough dried material to last an entire winter. The third plant probably sits in your house right now. You have been using it wrong your entire life. Aloe vera grows on windowsills and patios across every continent where people garden. Millions keep these plants specifically for burns and minor skin irritations. They slice open a leaf and rub the gel on a kitchen burn or a sunburn. This is not wrong, but it misses the bigger opportunity entirely. Research found something remarkable about consuming aloe vera rather than just applying it externally. Aloe vera gel supplementation improved facial wrinkles and elasticity, while it increased type 1 pro-collagen production in aged human skin. The effect came from eating the plant, not rubbing it on the surface. The compounds responsible are called allosterols. After exposure to these sterols, the production of collagen increased approximately twofold, and hyaluronic acid increased 1.5 times. Your skin needs both of these substances to maintain its structure and moisture. Topical application helps the outer layers. Internal consumption triggers production throughout your entire system from the inside out. Additional research confirmed that aloe vera increased the collagen content of healing tissue as well as its degree of cross-linking. Stronger cross-links mean more durable collagen that resists breakdown longer. The plant you have been keeping for first aid contains compounds that work in ways topical application cannot replicate. In Mexico, families have consumed aloe for generations. They call it sabila and add it to drinks and desserts. In parts of India, it shows up in traditional preparations under the name grit kumari. Across the Caribbean, traditional uses stretch back centuries. In Korea, they slice it into cubes and serve it in sweet drinks you can buy at any convenience store. These cultures did not have clinical trials. They had observation passed down through generations that told them this plant did something important when you consumed it. Aloe vera might be the easiest plant on this list to grow. It thrives in desert conditions with minimal water. Weeks of neglect do not kill an established plant. Full sun and well-draining soil meet its basic requirements. A sunny windowsill provides enough light in most climates. Harvest outer leaves while leaving the inner plant intact to continue growing. Scoop out the inner gel and discard the green outer portion, which can cause digestive upset. The gel adds to smoothies without changing the taste. A mature plant produces more leaves than a single household can use. The excess makes gifts that keep giving for years. The fourth plant does something no collagen supplement can do. It blocks the enzymes that destroy collagen after your body makes it. Rose bushes grow across every temperate climate on Earth. After the flowers fade and the petals drop, small red fruits develop where the blooms once sat. These fruits, called rose hips, contain more vitamin C than almost any other plant source, but their value for collagen goes beyond simple vitamin content. Research found that vitamin C applied to human skin enhances formation of collagen. Rose hips deliver that vitamin C along with additional compounds that standard supplements lack. Studies showed that rosehip powder blocks a specific enzyme that breaks down collagen in joint cartilage and skin tissue. This enzyme causes the fine lines and wrinkles that appear with aging. If you block this enzyme, existing collagen lasts longer and new collagen continues forming. The dual action makes rosehips uniquely valuable. Most vitamin C supplements only help build new collagen. Rosehips also protect what you already have. Defense and offense working together produce results that neither approach achieves alone. Research participants taking rosehip powder daily showed a significant decrease in skin wrinkles, along with a significant increase in moisture and elasticity. The researchers attributed these results to the combined profile of antioxidants, vitamin C, and fatty acids that rosehips provide naturally. In Scandinavia, traditional uses of rosehips stretch back centuries. The Swedes make a soup from them called nyponsoppa that children eat in school cafeterias. In parts of Eastern Europe, grandmothers still make rosehip tea the same way their mothers did. In Chile, they call the fruit moscata and press it into oil. During wartime rationing in Britain, the government organized mass collection of wild rosehips to provide vitamin C when citrus became unavailable. An entire generation learned what the land could provide when supply chains failed. Then that knowledge faded as the supplement industry grew. Rose bushes grow as hardy shrubs that tolerate poor soil and minimal attention. Wild roses often produce more abundant hips than fancy cultivated varieties bred for large blooms. Wait until after the first frost to harvest. When cold temperatures have softened the fruit and concentrated the sweetness, cut the hips open and remove seeds before drying. Dried rose hips store for years in airtight containers. Ground into powder, they add to morning tea or smoothies. The fifth plant survives conditions that would kill everything else on this list. It grows in the Arctic Circle, where temperatures drop below -40 degrees. It contains a fatty acid so rare that most nutritionists have never heard of it. Sea buckthorn bushes grow wild across northern Europe and Central Asia, in places where few other fruit-bearing plants survive. In Mongolia and Tibet, it has been used medicinally for over 1,000 years. In Russia, cosmonauts took sea buckthorn preparations into space. The bright orange berries contain omega-7 fatty acid at concentrations reaching 30 to 40% of the pulp oil. That makes sea buckthorn one of the most potent natural sources of this nutrient on the planet. Omega-7 does something remarkable. It reduces inflammation while promoting collagen synthesis through a pathway connected to cellular longevity. The omega-7 in sea buckthorn matches a fatty acid that naturally occurs in human skin and promotes growth of both surface cells and deeper fibroblasts responsible for collagen production. Clinical research confirmed measurable collagen density improvement after 12 weeks of sea buckthorn supplementation. Most plant oils contain omega-3 or omega-6 or omega-9. Sea buckthorn contains all four, including the rare omega-7. This combination provides benefits that single nutrient supplements cannot replicate. In Finland and Sweden, traditional uses continue in rural communities. In Nepal and Bhutan, the berries have been harvested for centuries. In parts of China, entire industries have developed around cultivation, and the government has funded research into its properties. The Greeks called it hippophae, which translates roughly to shiny horse because animals that ate the berries developed glossy coats. Meanwhile, in most American supplement stores, you will not find sea buckthorn anywhere. The companies that dominate shelf space have no interest in a plant that grows itself in conditions too harsh for anything else to survive. Growing sea buckthorn requires patience. The bushes tolerate extreme cold, poor soil, and salt exposure. You need both male and female plants for berry production. Container growing works in smaller spaces. The berries are juiced fresh or left to freeze on the branch, which softens them for easier harvest. One established bush produces berries for decades. The initial investment of time pays dividends every autumn for the rest of your life. Now, here is the question that should make you angry. Why did these 5 plants remain buried while the collagen supplement industry grew past $3 billion? The answer involves money and research priorities and the basic economics of what can be sold versus what can be grown. Search the major databases of medical research, type collagen peptide supplement, and you will find thousands of published studies. Type gotu kola collagen, and you will find far fewer. This ratio does not reflect scientific merit. It reflects who pays for research. Supplement companies fund trials that support their products. Peptide manufacturers sponsor studies at universities. The machinery of scientific validation follows the money. A plant that grows from cuttings generates no repeat sales. A packet of gotu kola seeds costs $3 and produces plants that multiply indefinitely. A tub of collagen peptides costs $40 to $60 and lasts about a month. The math explains everything. Free abundance scares paid systems. Market analysts describe the growing desire among consumers for natural, plant-based, and clean label products as one of the main factors propelling industry growth. Yet the industry response involves creating proprietary plant-based collagen boosters sold at premium prices, patented blends with fancy names, not the actual plants that anyone could grow in a bucket on a porch. What cannot be owned cannot be sold. What cannot be sold cannot be marketed. What cannot be marketed does not enter public consciousness. 3 generations of people grew up without ever hearing the words Centella asiatica. Not because anyone hid it, but because no one profited from revealing it. This is not conspiracy. This is economics working exactly as designed. Consider what happens when you calculate the real cost of each approach. A quality collagen supplement runs $40 to $60 per month. That adds up to $500 to $700 per year. Over a decade, you spend $5,000 to $7,000 on powders that your body breaks down into amino acids it could get from any protein source. The destination of those amino acids remains beyond your control. Now, consider the alternative. A packet of gotu kola seeds costs $3. An aloe vera plant from a garden center costs $5 to $10. Rose hip seeds cost $4. Horsetail often grows wild and free for the taking if you know where to look. Sea buckthorn bushes cost $15 to $20 each, and you need 2 for pollination. The total investment comes to roughly $50. That $50 produces plants that multiply and spread and yield harvest year after year for the rest of your life. Your children inherit them. Your grandchildren inherit them. The math is not even close. Picture a kitchen windowsill in your apartment or your house. Space exists for 3 or 4 small containers. An aloe vera plant sits beside a pot of spreading gotu kola. A jar of dried horsetail waits in the cabinet. Rosehip powder adds to morning tea. The same compounds that would cost hundreds of dollars annually in supplement form grow continuously from an initial investment smaller than a single tub of collagen powder. Your body has always known how to make collagen. Every cell that requires this protein contains the instructions for producing it. What your body needs is not more raw materials arriving through digestion. What your body needs is the signal to activate production where it actually matters. These 5 plants provide that signal. They grew on this planet long before supplement companies existed. They will continue growing long after current marketing trends fade. They ask nothing except water and light and occasional harvest. They return continuous production of compounds that trigger your own collagen manufacturing system. The knowledge exists. It never disappeared. It simply stopped being profitable to share. Every village healer in Indonesia knows about gotu kola. Every grandmother in Poland knows about horsetail. Every family in Mexico knows about sabila. That information traveled through generations by word of mouth, while supplement companies built marketing departments, funded studies, purchased shelf space, and created an industry worth billions. Think about what we lost along the way. Your great-grandmother did not walk into a store and scan shelves for the right powder. She walked into her garden or along a creek bed or into a field at the edge of town. She knew which plants helped with which problems because her mother showed her and her grandmother showed her mother. That chain of knowledge stretched back thousands of years unbroken. Then, within 2 or 3 generations, it snapped. Stores filled up with products, gardens emptied out, wild plants kept growing, but nobody remembered their names or their purposes. We traded wisdom for convenience and called it progress. We traded free abundance for expensive scarcity and called it innovation. We traded plants that work for powders that might work and paid a premium for the downgrade. You can keep buying the powders. Nobody will stop you. The supplement aisle will keep expanding, the tubs will keep getting more expensive, and the promises will keep getting bolder. Or you can spend an afternoon at a garden center, wait a few weeks for seeds to sprout, and spend the rest of your life harvesting plants that do what the powders only claim to do. You probably walked past one of these plants yesterday. Maybe you have been pulling it out of your yard for 40 years and throwing it in the trash. Maybe your grandmother tried to tell you about it, and you did not listen. At least now you know, At least your children and your grandchildren will know better. The knowledge gap that kept these plants obscure closes the moment you put a single cutting in soil. If this story changed the way you look at the weeds in your garden, please subscribe and like the channel. We are unearthing the history they tried to bury. Plant the future. The next treasure will be revealed soon.